Hello everyone, I'm Coyote Jack, and the censorship news continues, man. Yeah, I know you probably are sick and tired. There is going to be a good news sometimes. Well, only time we keep telling us if that is going to be a point we could reach that. So you have this headline from Automaton. Games on Steam can no longer be updated with not safe for work content post-launch. Oh well, fucking that, but well, anyway. Constant post-launch, but Valve isn't the problem, developer says. We know it's the payment processors, but seriously, they are screwing developers. I remember when I covered that Black Souls game that it used to be sold on the L side, at least in this region. You have to set up a VPN if you want to get that the full version on the L side if you want to buy it, or sail into 7 Seas. It's easier to sail 7 Seas, but anyway. Even saying this, so you had not safe for war games that got the stripper of their content on Steam, but you could update it with a desensor patch. And I know people commented on that, hey, at least I still have that solution. This headline tells me it's not going to be that case anymore. So let's continue. Adult game developers say Steam new rules no longer allow updates to adult games containing new mature content. So Crimson Delight Games, the developers for adult fantasy RPG Tales of Legendary Lost Aphrodisia. What a nice name! And I'm not being sarcastic. Yeah, it's a nice name. Says it had to give up on updating the game with extra not safe for work content to comply with Steam's new rules. So okay, so they could update it in the past themselves through the Steam services. Man, if this reach to the sensor patch, yeah, I think this is going to be the next step. So well, I jump to conclusions, but let's continue. The dev says Valve is not to blame, as the platform has been kind and helpful despite payment processors breathing down into its neck. Yeah, we know it's the fucking payment processors. And I noticed developer don't want to burn the bridge with this platform because yeah, I know Steam is the biggest platform exists on PC. Are just the ones making it money compared to the fucking console peasants like Shitbox and PC Station 5. Well, Nintendo could be the exception, but well, for third parties they are not doing so well because of what we have covered with the Game Kickers fiasco. But this, like the platform that should be like, yeah, they want that I can have all of my stuff I want to play without being bothered. They're taking that away. Payment processors, they are just keep doing this nonsense. Just things to keep crippling themselves. Oh man. And I know this developer. Yeah, I want to keep selling here in the future, but even how is that going to be possible? You have to release something else, despite that you advertise it yourself as a not safe for work video game maker. That's the catch. If you betray your audience, it's game over. That's how this game is played. So, Tales of Legendary Lost, a Prodigio launched as an adult-only game on September 15 with modern content warnings in place. According to announcements, the developers plan to add additional not safe for work and scenes through updates to the base game while they worked on a major DLC expansion slated for 2026. However, they had to give up on updating the base game because Valve doesn't allow post-launch not safe for work content for an app that has already been through the review process and has released this in the store. I think this developer should have played the desensor patch route, but I think even with this setting, because hey, they said hey, we used to have this going in the past, it didn't used to be a problem. I think they are going to attack these sensor patches because yeah, even if people comment on this and they keep it, the payment processors they're going to get to this information sooner or later, and they are going to keep forcing, they are going to keep twisting the knife and sinking another one. So continue on. The system, even if a game is marketed as adult only from the start, the developers are not allowed to add more adult content to it after its initial release, which I find it pretty bullshit because even yeah, it was already adult only. I'm putting the tags there. Why are you so bitch about it? Well, it's the payment processors. Once again, the Visa, Mastercard, PayPal, all of those. Instead of additional content has to go to DLC, which requests its own review process. Over on Reddit at Crimson, the Light Games representative commented, "We are in a couple of no safe for work dev communities and these new rules weren't in place before the collective shit uproar and subsequent payment processor censorship." Yeah, it was because of these payment processors and this fucking activist group being their fucking uh, minions in all of this playthrough to, well, cripple Steam, cripple itch.io, cripple all the competition while themselves they claiming that they want to beat them once owning video games. So yeah, at this point, I don't know what else to tell to this developer. They have to release other stuff in other way and with the not safe for world content that they promised, or otherwise they're not going to get much support anymore because yeah, people are just learning that, hey, if you are going to stop giving me what I want, I'm going to find someone else, and there's that. It's game over for that developer. Yeah, and Steam is enacting this because payment processors. If they only they decided to make their own, since they are so fucking big, but looks like it's not going to be the case. Ah man, if only game you will play it that correctly. But well, continue on. They emphasized that despite the new restrictions imposed, Valve was kinda forthcoming throughout the process. We didn't feel threatened or bullied in any way, and we got the feeling they were trying to do their best to help devs navigate the process. Well, probably because yeah, even I think I perceive in this that if Steam is actually doing this, like please have us patience. Other developers are going to get discouraged from releasing on Steam. Well, Steam is still receiving AAA slop, and there are some fucking gullible morons trying to buy that, but hey, the other stuff that, well, it made your storefront appealing, you're taking that away. Simple as that, but these fucking payment processors, I don't know what else to tell you. They are doing this fucking dog shit. And we need newer ones. We need new ones, but hell, even these fucking pieces of shit are just making their way to keep themselves afloat and regulating to no end. So continue on. We we got the feeling they were trying to do their best to help them navigate the process. Says on the dev, suggesting the platform is doing what it can despite the recent pressure from third parties. On a side note, Crimson to Light Games confirmed with Steam that regular updates to adult games such as bug fixes and patches to existing content are still allowed. Or censorship patch because those exist. We have covered certain games that got censored like Skullgirls and many such as other examples. Ah man, it's just discouraging. The new rule seems to be specifically applied to adding new mature content. And they're using this word, mature content. Anything can be mature. Hey, war topics are mature. Well, sex is obviously mature, but they start with that one and then they jump to the other one. Talking about taboos, well, mature content. So on and so on and so on, and that's how it ends. In a fucking endless pit of censorship. Yeah, too bad for these guys, and they have to learn a way to keep delivering the good stuff, otherwise they're going to take themselves out of the market. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and please, take care.